Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome into another episode of the BeBall Jones podcast. Of course, I'm your host, BeBall Jones, and today I have another wonderful interview for you guys. So, not only do I have another great hooper for you guys, but I have another D1 hooper. She is like a real baller here in these streets. I don't know if you guys know, but I have real ballers on this episode, on this podcast. Man. So, without further ado, I'd like to introduce you guys to a Big East Power 5 player and Miss Kenzie Hare. How you doing, man?
I'm great. Thanks for having me on.
And I appreciate you coming on. It means a lot. So,
Of course.
tell the people about yourself a little bit. Tell what you got going on and everything, and get into it.
Yeah, I'm a freshman guard at Marquette. Our season went pretty great. We went to March Madness, which was a lot of fun. So just kind of growing this experience has been pretty awesome here, and just continue to get better with like a new team, new staff. It's been a lot of fun.
So, was this year a shock to you, like with how you play, or was it kind of like, oh, that's what I do, or was it like, maybe I could have did better? How's this year for you overall?
Yeah, I mean, definitely, I think freshman year in general, there's a lot of ups and downs. There's a lot of there's some learning curves. I think defense is really hard to translate from high school to college. I mean, you're playing against these girls who some of them are 22, and you're like 18, 19 coming in. So it's like kind of big difference with strength wise and speed. And so there was some bit of a learning curve with defense and other things like that. But I think I did pretty well. I think there's a lot of things that I can do better, and we already started working on that in this postseason. But overall, definitely had a good season.
So, how would you describe your game overall? Like you said, defense was a learning curve for you, but how would you describe your game
Yeah.
overall? You say like I'm a lockdown defender, but of course it was a learning curve to it, or was it just like, ooh, I ain't signed up for this on defense? Like, how would you describe your game?
Yeah. I mean, I think I'm a pretty solid defender. I'm getting there. I'm definitely getting better each and every day, but I'm a shooter for sure. That's kind of like my main role, my main thing. I love coming off some stagger screens, some flares, down screens, anything like that. So,
Okay, so you're a sniper. Okay, so later on, I'm gonna ask you some questions about this since we're going that direction. But
all right,
there's
sounds
other stuff
good.
before we get there. Okay, but so with you coming here, was shooting? Did you struggle with it at first, or was it just like off the rip, just like okay, nothing like how was your
I
adjustment
actually,
from there to college?
yeah, my coaches and I actually joke about this. I like came in like firing away, so I kind of had to like
Mm,
reel myself back when it got kind of more into the season to kind of figure out like real shots that I need to be taking in games and not just firing everything because I was like, well, let's go. But so yeah, but we joke about it all the time. But it's been a lot of fun to kind of just learn. I have a really great point guard that I've been learning from, and she's a pretty great shooter as well. So kind of just getting to do a lot of one-on-ones with her and our head coach or our assistant coach, and kind of just breaking it down and learning from her has been really, really great.
So did you have any like learning curves when it comes to shooting? Like I know you said you had to reel it back. So was it like shot selection? Was it being a team player with your shot? Like what was the gap that you kind of missing from high school to here?
Yeah, it was more of like shot selection when it comes to like, because in high school you can shoot whatever you want, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and when it comes to college, you got to really like shot clock wise. Like I didn't really understand the shot clock because in my high school we don't have a shot clock. So I had to learn like what when we want to shoot on a shot clock, you can't just take the first shot available. So it's like I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't taking like bad shots, but it was more like early shots and stuff that I got to wait till I get it in the offense. So it was kind of like that.
Mm. Is that a hard adjustment? Like you said, from being, I get buckets to like, oof, I can only get this many shots. So was that a hard adjustment for you?
I mean, not really, because I don't really like. I mean, I more if it's like I want whatever the team needs to be successful. So if that's me shooting 10 shots a game, cool, I'll do it. If that's me shooting five, perfect. So kind of whatever we need to win. So it wasn't really much of a big deal for me.
Mm. Okay, but you kind of went the humble route with bringing up your intro. Um, You failed to mention that you won a certain freshman award this year. So do you want to speak on that? Since
I did, sure. I was on the Big East all freshman team, which was pretty cool.
so how was that? Because that's Big East, all freshmen. How's that for you?
Yeah, I mean, it was awesome. I mean, me and my other teammate, who's a freshman, we both got the award, which was super cool. I mean, that's a great honor. So just to be in the same conversation is like, I mean, we have so many great teams in Big East. So like we have UConn, we have Villanova, Creighton, all these big teams that just to be in a group of all freshmen, that's pretty cool.
Speaking of UConn,
Yeah.
what was that like?
Yeah, I mean, so playing UConn was a lot of fun. I mean, we went 1-2, so we did beat them this year for the first time in our program history, which was amazing. But that's just a type of team they're tough. They're gonna really take advantage of every little mistake your team makes. They're just very, very disciplined, and they know every single option in their offense, and they're gonna get to those options. So they're fun to play. They're fun to play.
Were you kind of disappointed to not see Paige out there? It's like,
Yeah, I am, but hopefully she'll be back next year, getting healthy. I mean, I really hate to see players injured, so I'm glad they're getting back. And AZ was getting back towards the end of the season, so it'll be good to have their team in full swing next year, hopefully.
mm-hmm. So what was AZ like? I know you didn't play a lot against her because she, like you said, she was coming back from the injury. But what was it like seeing her? It was like, was that your first time seeing her, or like, what was the situation with that?
I mean, I've heard of her before, definitely, and I watched her a little bit last year. But so I got to play against her in the Big East tournament, but she played limited minutes because she was coming back from injury. But she's a sniper. She's a bucket. So I mean, it's fun to play against her. I think I'm gonna try to pick up some things from her too, learn a few things. But yeah, she was definitely fun to play against. She's very, very, very good.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun to see you guys battle next year.
Yeah.
So going back to the shooter route, right? There's a big debate within the basketball community of, certain traits and skills being genetics, or is it like developed? So with shooting being one of those debated topics, where do you fall on that line? Do you feel like shooting is just a God-given things like in your genes, your mom and dad just came together and birthed the shooter, or is it like, nah, I work for this one, I earned this one?
Definitely developed because I was not always a shooter. Like, I think the first time I was really like characterized as a shooter was like my freshman year of high school. Like all the other years at AAU before that, I was not like a solid shooter. But going into high school, I really was like, I'm gonna be a shooter, and I know I can control this because I can control how many reps I get in. And so I was really locked into like over the summer I made 500 shots a day. So every single day I was in either it was in the gym or my driveway, I was gonna make 500 shots before I finished my day. So I think that's really where it started, and then from there I like grew to really love the process and like really love the hard work of it. And so I still get on the shooting machine all the time, get my shots in every single day outside of practice because you're not going to get all the shots you need inside of your practice. You really got to work outside on your individual game. So I'd say developed for sure.
I'm so glad you said this because we had a debate on here before, and me being a trainer, I took the side, of course, development because you can have genes and everything.
Yeah.
Like it's just like, but you got to work on it. I don't care how God gifted you
For
are.
sure.
I don't care about any of that because
right.
you got to work. You got to earn at the end of the day. So I'm just glad you validated me.
Yeah,
we're on the same page here.
I got you. For sure.
So tell me back to your younger days before you became a sniper, before you were a Big East player, before all these accolades and greatness was upon you. Take me back to young Kenzie. What was she like?
Yeah, I was one of those kids who was gonna be like everywhere on the court at once, like running around, going for loose balls. Like I had knee pads and I would break them every single tournament. Like they would lose all of its like fluffing or whatever was in there, like every single time. My parents had to buy me so many new knee pads. So I was just one of those kids, like I don't even know what I was doing out there. I was kind of just running around. getting buckets here and there, but mostly I was kind
Mhm.
of just looking to play as hard as I can.
Mm. So back then, you was kind of like a hustle player. You just play with a lot of heart.
Yeah, pretty much. And then like my sister, she played basketball at Missouri St. Louis, and then both my parents coached basketball. And they both played in high school. So being around them, I kind of learned a lot. I learned a lot from my sister because she's 4 years older than me. So
Mm.
I got to kind of watch her develop and go through like the recruiting process, and her go through high school, and see her get better throughout her years. And I'm like, well, shoot, now I got to be better. So I got to go do this. So I think she really pushed me as well.
Mm. So what were those battles like in the driveway? At home with the one-on-ones. How was that like?
Man, I don't even know if we ever finished like a one-on-one game. Like it would get so competitive. It would be so bad. I mean, yeah, it would go until someone fouled way too hard, and someone would call the game, and we'd go inside and be like, my dad would be like, "Well, go finish the game. Get back out there. You guys aren't coming in until you're done." So
Mhm.
those battles really were a lot of fun. They're crazy.
So did you ever get one over on her, like a shooting game,
I
one-on-one? Did you
did.
ever like it?
I
Okay.
did. Once she was in college, it was her, and I was like, I think my freshman year, her sometime around there, I won a one-on-one game. That was my first time ever beating her, and she
Mm.
hasn't played me since. She refuses. So yeah.
Oh man. So she was a freshman in college. So you were a freshman in college too, or sophomore?
So I think she was
I mean high school.
a sophomore in college, and I was a sophomore in high school.
Okay, got you. Ooh, that had to hurt even more.
Yeah, she was pissed.
Ooh,
She was for
I
sure
know I
not
would be
happy with
too.
that one. Yeah, we just paid
So
back
would you?
all those years.
Oh yeah, got to. I'm the youngest too, so I feel you. We right here.
Oh,
Like,
me too. Me too. So you have to.
mm, oh, got to. So would you consider yourself the better shooter? Like, what do you have over her? Like, give me something.
So she was a really great shooter. But I have to say that I'm better. Going into high school, she had all the shooting records at our high
Hmm.
school, and so I had to break all of them because I was like, I can't let you have this. Can't let you have this. Got to. So I would say me. I have to say me.
Mm. I like you. We right here. I like the competitive energy. I like the pettiness. I like all of this. I'm a big
Yeah.
fan of all of that. So,
Thanks.
so high school. Okay.
Yeah.
Did you break her records or did you break school records or both?
School records. So she had the school records,
Ooh. Okay.
and then
Okay.
I
Tell me
broke
about it. I want to
them.
hear about that. How many
Yeah.
records
So
did you break? What were they?
I broke threes in a game, threes in a season, and threes in a career. But I only spent 3 years at that high school, so I broke it in three. So so threes in a game, she had 7, and then I had 9,
Mm-hmm.
and then threes in a season. I think hers was like 70 something, and I had 119. Um,
Okay.
and
Okay.
then threes in a career. I think she ended with, I want to say, close to like 280, 290 or something like that. And I had 3 something. So I just beat that one. So
Hey, I like it still. You beat her. The fact that you broke it in 3 years makes me feel even better. Like, I just like the pettiness in this
yeah,
because it's fun.
I had to. I had to do it.
So, what did she say when you finally broke it? What was she like? Was she like, congratulations? Was she like, oh, like, man, get out my face?
Yeah, she both. It was the first. It was get out my face first, and then later on she'll be like, all right, I guess good job, like congrats.
Mm.
But at first she was not having it at all. She's like, no way, get out of here.
So you said you're from Milwaukee, right?
I'm from Illinois, but then I go to school
Illinois.
at Marquette, which is in Milwaukee.
Got you. So Illinois. Well, ooh. What part of Illinois are you from?
So my first 3 years I went to Bartlett High School, and then my last year I went to Naperville North. So in Naperville area, a lot of people know that one. It's kind of suburbs of Chicago.
So tell me about the hoop scene growing up there, because Chicago is like one of the up there
Yeah.
cities in basketball. So what's it like up there?
Yeah, I mean, there's like, it's kind of like every single person you know around you is like going to play in college. So like when you hear about the statistics of like only like whatever, like 1.5% or however many people go play, like everyone in my area is going to play. So I'm like, what? Like everyone's around here is going to play in college. So it's you're gonna find a lot of good competition there. You're always gonna find someone who you can compete against. There's always gonna be someone you can go train with to get better. Like if they're better than you, then go train with them so you can get better like that. So there's always someone, always.
So some people will hear that and be like, I don't know if I can fit in. I don't know if I can make it. Kind of like imposter syndrome, because like I don't know if I can,
Yeah.
I can make it. And some people hear that and it's like you. It's like, oh, you making it, I'm making it. Let's figure out how to get there. So what put you on that side of the bridge and the other one?
I mean, I think how I kind of grew up that way. Like my dad was a football coach, so he's always kind of had that like you're gonna work for what you got. You're gonna give it your all. You're not gonna leave anything on the court. Kind of like that, which I loved growing up like that. Always having like grit and toughness. Like that was gonna be your main things. Like you're always gonna have that because you can control that. So that's always been kind of like my thought process with things. Like coming into college, like I'm gonna work for my spot. I'm gonna see what I can do. So kind of that same thing.
So now it makes sense on why the knee pads was missing from your dad's football background, coaching you, and the Chicago toughness blended together, plus playing against the older sister of 4 years, like all that combined to where
all
this
coming
is
together.
who you are now.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, who was like the best player that you saw from your area growing up?
Yeah. Gosh, there was. So I think growing up, I watched Kathleen Doyle. So she went on to play at Iowa, and then she was in the WNBA for a little bit. Now she's playing overseas. She was a point guard at Bennett Academy, which is a school in Naperville, so it's around my area. I remember watching her growing up and being like, I want to be like her. Like she's really good. So kind of growing up at that. And then, of course, there were some older girls at my high school that I would go and I would look up to from going to the kids camp. And I'd be like, I want to play at that level. Like, I want to be like them. So there's always been a lot of role models in my area. And then people my age, too. A lot of my teammates are very good. One of my best friends plays at Nebraska. Another one of my best friends plays at Michigan. Another one's going to Indiana next year. So just I've always kind of had people surrounding me that are like gonna push me to be better. They're gonna like I'm not coming back in the summer to see them and it's not like we're not gonna work out together. Like we're going to the gym. Like that's how we're gonna meet up. So always having those people around me I think also really pushed me to be where I am today.
It sounds dope. It just sounds like you're made, because like it's down here basketball is not like that. Like you have every once in a while you get somebody that special kind of gets through and makes it to a good level, and another couple years you get somebody else that makes it to a good level. But for you, it's just like a cycle. It's a machine that just comes out. So
pretty much
it's just it's exciting to hear that. It's exciting.
It is. Like, it is. It's a lot of fun. It is. It's awesome.
So you said you went to one school for 3 years, another when you changed schools for a different year. What happened with that? Like, did you just move, or was it intentional? What was that?
We just moved. And then it turns out moving, I had met some great people there. Like the team was awesome. I had a great coaching staff at my new school. We ended up losing in the sectional finals, which sucked, but we had a great year overall. We ended up being like, I think it was like 28-5. So we ended up having a great year. So it was definitely a blessing to go to that school. So it was really good.
So at what point was it more realistic to be like, okay, I'm going D1 now, or like college ball is kind of becoming an official thing? What at what point, like what year is like, oh, these dreams are like finally becoming reality?
I think I would say like 7th grade. That's when I first started talking to some coaches. But it was I also saw like I was playing up on a team, so that's probably why I got the college looks I was getting, because I was in 7th grade playing with 8th graders. So they're just starting to get in high school. They're starting to get like some phone calls here and there. So I was getting some of that too. And I was like, man, I think I can really do this. Like, I know some people, like some of these older girls, they're getting scholarships, and I'm like, I know I can do that. Like, I know I can go play at the next level. But I actually ended up committing to St. Louis University my before my junior year season. So I was committed to there, and I really was excited to go there. And then there was a coaching change, so I ended up opening my recruitment my senior year after basketball season. So I'm about to go. I'm supposed to be reporting in like a month, and my recruitment's open now. So that was kind of crazy. And then I ended up obviously committing to Marquette, and like I had like a 2-week span to get all my visits in, like figure out where I'm going, like. But it turned out for the best because I really love it here at Marquette.
So how did that happen? Because that's not like
Yeah.
a lateral step. You went, no offense to the other school, but
Yeah.
it's a Power
Yeah.
5 Marquette school. So like, what happened with that?
Yeah. I had a really good junior year. I had a really good sophomore and junior year. So senior year too. So kind of just at the point when I was committed, I didn't really have any other bigger offers, which was fine because I really loved St. Louis. I really loved that staff. But I think over that time, I had a really good AAU season. I just continued to get better. I mean, through COVID, like COVID obviously was a horrible time for a lot of people, but I was stuck in a gym for like 8 months. So like I was like, this is low key a lot of fun. Like I can be at the gym all day long. I have online school, so I can do like 2 hours online school and go straight to the gym. So I think I really like locked into like I'm gonna be the best player I can be. I'm not wasting any more time sitting around or doing anything like that. So I kind of got a lot better over my junior year. And then, so when I had to reopen my recruitment, it was totally different than the first time around.
So COVID year was more of a blessing for you because you were able to level up.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it was.
So what did you do to kind of like, not reinvent yourself, but like really grow your game over that time?
Yeah, so my sophomore year, I was basically strictly a shooter. Like I would be like a sniper, and like that's it. I would drive once in a while, not really have any handles or anything like that. I was kind of just pretty good shooter, and that was about all. But I wanted to be a scorer. I didn't want to be just a shooter. And so I worked with my AAU coach, Coach Ryan. He's been so incredible. So I worked with him, and then a group of some of those girls I was talking about who are going to play Division I Power 5 as well. And we would get in sessions together. We'd go, the 4 of us would work out for 2 hours a day as like playing one-on-one and doing some skill work. But like I think the one-on-ones really, like, you had to try all the moves that we just learned in the skill session like an hour before, and you're trying it, and you're going to read the defender, and then we're going to play 2-on-2, and you're going to do the same thing, and you're going to work out of it, and you're going to figure it out. And then I would do personal trainings, individual trainings with my coach as well. And it was like, we're going to fix this, and we're going to just really lock into getting you more of like a scorer where you can score anytime, and you're not just a shooter, you're not limited to that. So kind of just unlocking that part of my game, I think, was really huge.
So talk me through that transition from shooter to scorer. Like what were some of the things that you highlighted and emphasized during your training?
Yeah, we highlighted a lot of like a shot fake and a hezzy, like off the dribble, because my coach and I would watch some film on like Steph Curry and Allie Quigley in the WNBA of how they have so much gravity. She is. Yeah. They just have gravity on the court. So like you always know where the shooters are on the court. So yeah. So you always know where they are. So you're gonna have somebody by you. Or in high school, I was like face guard every single game. So they always knew where you were. But just you have learning how to use that gravity to your advantage, because if they think you're only going to be a shooter, then they can play you close because they know you're not going to drive by them. But now when you add the driving, now they have to take a step back sometimes, and now you have your shot. So it kind of just opened up the game so much more, and I was able to think about switches differently. Like I would think, like I wouldn't think anything when people switched like off, and like someone had a switch, I'd be like, oh, but like we kind of talked about it as like that wasn't their assignment, so you're gonna go attack them because they're not supposed to be on you right now. So you got to take an advantage of this. So it's kind of like I had to think of things different way, like learn a new way of thinking in that way, and kind of it just grew my confidence a lot. And I think confidence is very important when you're especially transitioning into college, because now you're playing with girls who have been in college for years and they know the system, they know the offense, they already have confidence in everything you're doing, and now you have to jump in and you got to learn all that, and like no, you got to learn it fast because they already know it. So just I think maintaining the confidence was huge too.
So talk to me about that mental adjustment from shooter to scorer, because sometimes it's a challenge to go from I just catch and shoot to like, oh, I can actually do more now. It's like, was that a hard adjustment for you, or what was that adjustment like? Because I deal with that with my players too in training. Like, hey, you can shoot that, right? You can do this, right? So what was that like for you?
Yeah, I think definitely sometimes, like at the beginning, it was hard, but I think because we didn't have any games because it was COVID, so we didn't have any games. I was like, I don't need to be perfect at it right now because I don't have a game the next weekend. I can still like grow and I can make mistakes because we're in practice. Like this is the time to make mistakes. This is the time to go as hard as you can, learn as much as you can, and like just try it. So when I'm with like that group of four of us and we play one-on-one, I would try absolutely everything. I would try the new moves I just learned. I would try hezzy, and I'd make a lot of mistakes. I'd miss a lot, and I was like, oh well, because now I'm gonna have to get a stop on defense to get ball back. But I think just being able to be okay with making mistakes was huge, because obviously no one likes making mistakes, but like I think that's the best way to learn, and it's through failure. And I think that takes a while sometimes to build being okay with making mistakes, but just knowing like I think practice is the perfect time for it. Training is the perfect time for it, because you're not in front of a big stage. You're not in March Madness, right? So you make the mistakes now so that when you're on the court, it looks effortless because you've done it 1,000 times before. So,
So when you came out of your training after COVID and everything, were you just like itching to get back on the court to be like, well, I can't wait to show y'all the new Kenzie? Or was it just kind of like you were chilling, just like, all right, y'all know what's coming at you? Like, what was your mindset come back after it?
I was so excited because, I mean, all these teams, I mean, they all knew I was in the conference, because we only were allowed to play conference games that year back from COVID. So we only played 18 games that season. So it was all the conference teams and like a few non-conference, one or two. And so I was like, they don't know what's coming. They don't know what we've been working on this past off season. So I think that was the most exciting. Like the first game back, I was pulling everything out. I was like, oh, I'm using this move, like we'll see. But it wasn't like I was like, okay, I need to use this move at the beginning. It was coming naturally because I've been doing it for so long, which I think was just like really fun to like see it kind of click. I think that was such a great part of getting back into the games, because now you can see your progress and you can go watch film on it, because now you're playing in a real game. So you can watch, man, look, I tried that move. It didn't work this time, but I see where I messed up. Like I'm going to get that next time.
So explain you not going overboard with the new moves. Like how do you show off your training and show off the moves and skills and everything without going overboard and forcing it too much? How do you balance that? Because that's a difficult thing to do sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, I think the most of the time when I was using my moves, it was a lot of like I'm in transition and it's like a one-on-one type of situation that like I beat everyone down the floor, like it's a one-on-one. I'm using my moves. That's where it kind of started off. And then there was times in my offense where it was like a play and I would obviously like run the play, and then after it would like be a dead like play's broken, then you can go use your move. But like at the same time, when you use these moves, you draw two. That's perfect for a kick or perfect for like a dive to the basket. So it's not like every move was to me to score. Like every move either set up me or it set up my teammate. And I mean, getting an assist is just as good as getting a basket or even better sometimes. So I think that was really great for our team in general.
So it's not that you're mentally weak. It's just that you don't really understand where your mental toughness is. You don't understand where exactly you're mentally strong at. It's even crazy. You probably don't even really understand what mental toughness actually is. And I don't blame you because usually we just have coaches yelling at us and fussing at us saying, hey, be mentally tough. You're being weak right now. You're being soft right now. But it's not the full scope and it doesn't give you any true understanding of what mental toughness is and how you can get better at it. And so I'm here to help you guys out. Because just imagine I gave you a pill right here in my hand. Just imagine. And within that pill, it gave you just a epiphany where you just brain just blew up and you're just like, oh my goodness, you got so much better understanding. Now your game just grows by 10x and you just a whole different person now. Bro, I got the pill for you right here. Never fear. B's Mental Toughness Playbook ebook is here. You feel me? So in this whole little playbook I got for you, just small little ebook, it breaks down the mental game of understanding what mental toughness is in different areas of what your mental toughness is and how you can actually grow it and get better and enhance it. So, look in the link, look in the description, and just go ahead and purchase it and do yourself a favor by just understanding what mental toughness actually is and also understanding how you can actually grow it and what you can do to get better at it. So, just the Mental Toughness Playbook, small little ebook. I'm just trying to tell you, hey, can't say I didn't warn you. Okay, now take me to your senior year when you were just going crazy getting buckets. What was that year like?
Yeah, so my senior year was a different team. It was a better team overall. So I had a couple other girls who are playing in college. So we worked really well as a team. We got a lot of buckets because all of us could do almost anything. So it would be hard to guard us all because we had a really good post. We had a couple really good guards. So being able to kind of like, I think the hardest part for us was figuring out like how to use everyone's strength because we had a lot. So sometimes like some people have strength and they didn't even use it the whole season, or like they weren't able to, or they weren't put in the position to. So halfway through the season, I was a two guard for most of the season. Halfway through, we switched me to point guard, so that our old point guard she was a really good shooter. So I was like, I know I can get her the ball and like so she can get shots. Like I want her shooting some threes. So just kind of being like able, like I talked to my coach about that. I was able, like we were communicating, like I was really good at communicating with my coach. I mean, we watched film all the time. Like we both like trust each other. I think having a relationship with your coach is very important. Like being able to kind of talk about like what you see, like, and they respected me, which was amazing. I could tell them like, hey, I see this. Like, do you mind if like we try it out? Like maybe in practice, like if we see like how this works out. And then it ended up working out. I ended up being the point guard for the rest of the season, and it kind of like flipped a lot of things where we were able to get a lot more looks in transition. We were pushing the ball up the floor much faster. My teammate got a lot of extra looks. We were getting it to the post. So kind of just being able to like adapt with a lot of things. It was a really good season though. It was a lot of fun.
So what do you think separated you? I mean, besides like the COVID situation, what do you think separated you from before to after, like to get to be a Power 5 school, Marquette caliber player, like development, training and everything? What everything like the recipe that went into being that caliber of player?
I think being willing to do hard things. I mean, no one really likes like sometimes like our team will joke about preseason. Like during preseason in college, sometimes you don't know if you're making it through the workout. Like you don't know if you're gonna make it through. Like some of these like conditioning is so crazy, the strength is crazy. Like, but like being able to like you're not quitting. Don't quit on yourself. Like a big thing for me is like if I make a plan through the week, like I'm not negotiating with myself and changing that plan. Like I set out to do that plan. I'm not waking up one morning and be like, I want to go back to sleep. Like, no, I made that plan and I made that commitment to myself. And so I think kind of being able to kind of commit to yourself, like you want to be the player you want to be, then you have to go put in the work to be that player, and you can't be afraid to miss out on hanging out with your friends. Like I didn't go hang out with my friends a lot of the time in high school because I knew this is where I wanted to be, and I knew if I wanted to get there, I had to go put in the work that a lot of people weren't willing to do, and I'd give up things that people weren't willing to give up. So I think that really went into it.
Mm. So describe like your training day, like from like a high school day for you. Like what was the day like for you during school? Like you woke up at this time, you train and go to school, whatever. What was that, process like for you? And like same thing in the off season.
Yeah, so it kind of varied. If I was able to get in the morning before school, I would go and get on the gun with my coach, and we would get up. So we'd get up at, I think I'd get there around 6:30, and we'd go for an hour before school. So we'd get our work in, and then we'd have our team practice after school. And then after that, I would get my dad, so he's also a strength coach. So our
Mm,
basement is like a whole gym at this point. He keeps on adding on, but because my brother, I have a twin brother, and he plays football at
mm,
Saginaw Valley State. So he's a center, so he's big guy, so he's super
yeah.
strong. So our weight room in the basement has to be crazy for him. So I would go after school, after my practice, I would go and work out and get my lift in, just so I was able to be strong and get more powerful, more explosive, more athletic. And I think that really helped going into college, already having that like foundation. Um, and then, yeah, I think that was usually how the days would go back in high
Mm.
school.
So what about summertime?
Summertime it would be, I'd get up, I would usually I'd like to get my strength stuff done in the morning, so I would get it done, get my workout done, then I would go to basketball, um, work out usually with Coach Ryan, my AU coach, work out with him, either do like a group a training or an individual, and then usually later in the day we'll have some sort of like pickup scrimmage, just because it's summer, and that's how you like work on, I mean, with our AAU teams, we know how to work on building our connection with each other, learning how each other play, and everything like that. So that's usually how it went.
Mm. So you weren't like a crazy Kobe type 5 times a day type working out. Like you were just, you know,
Yeah, I had to learn being like efficient in the gym rather than being,
mm,
because like back in early high school years, I would come home, I'd go to Lifetime Fitness and be in that gym for like 5 hours. And I would be like,
mhm,
I'd be playing pickup with the guys, I'd be playing one on one, I'd be playing 21 with some random 30-year-olds. I just picked it up and I was like, hey, can I play? Like, and
mm,
I would shoot around for so many hours, and it wasn't really like efficient. Like I wasn't getting
mhm,
work in, I wasn't getting game shots in, I wasn't doing like, of course I was doing stuff, but it wasn't as efficient as it could have been. So I think I kind of learned later in my high school careers, and I'm still trying to figure a lot of it out now. Just like the load, especially in college, the load your body goes through
mhm,
on a daily basis. I had to learn, like, I can't go shoot for 2 hours tonight. Like it's gotta be 30 minutes, but I'm gonna get 500 mates in this 30 minutes because I have a shooting gun or I have a partner with me, one of my teammates. So I think I had to learn to be more efficient with my time for sure.
I think that's probably the most, I won't say controversial, but kind of like a hot topic. Like everybody, all the
Yeah.
coaches want their players to be just live in the gym, die in the gym type stuff. And I'm getting to a point where I'm like, I don't like that. Like I think we should go to bed. It's okay to wake up at like 7, 8 o'clock if you get a good night's sleep. And
Yeah.
why can't you just train like 3 hours total, like for the whole day? Like live for one
Yeah.
hour, be in the gym for 2 hours, or vice versa, hour and a half doesn't matter. But like I don't think that basketball should be done that way, or life, because like
Hmm.
your example, because you go to a big school, so it's possible to do it in a more efficient manner. And so,
Yeah.
what would you say to those players who feel like I have to, bring a sleeping bag with me and live in the gym, and I have to train all day, and I can't take like no days off, and ball is like what would you say to that player that's just like mindset is stuck on being in the gym the whole day?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a great mindset to have, but I think sleep, like our team talks about sleep. Like you need at least 8 hours. You need your hydration. Like we talk about these things. Like you put your body through a lot throughout the season, and I think a lot of people don't understand like the type of load your body goes through. Like we have these things called a catapult. So it's like a little kind of device. It's like that big. It goes in the back of our sports bras, and it kind of clips in there, and it tracks like how much load our body goes through, um,
Mhm.
which they use to kind of then figure out what we do moving on. I know a lot of the NBA players, you probably hear like them sitting out for load management, which that's also
Yeah.
controversial. But I think just being able to be efficient with what you're doing, I think still like love the game. You definitely still need to go work out on your free time. I think that's what separates the good teams from the great teams. They have players who are going to go to the gym late at night. Like I think our team always talks about, especially now in the postseason where we only have 4 hours a week on the court. Like 4 hours, you're not gonna miraculously become this great player in the postseason because you're 4 hours on the court a week. Like you got to come back in
Mhm.
the gym. That's why we have pickup tonight. We have pickup like 2-3 times a week, and then in addition to that, we always all our teams always texting like, "Hey, I'm going to the gym tonight. Who wants to come? Like, I'm going tomorrow morning. Who want like before workout? Who wants to come?"
Mhm.
I think that's what separates a lot of the good to great teams. Just having the players who want to go get in that efficient work
Mhm.
and just are willing to go do that.
That's a good culture you guys have, because it's not just a one or two players want to get better. It's the whole team, and it's like the
Hmm.
accountability too. So it's like I'm
Yeah,
going,
for sure.
anybody else coming, and you look bad when you're the one or two players just like not there,
Right,
period. So like that's a great
right.
culture
And then
that you guys have.
we have a yeah, and I mean we have a board in our locker room, and so we use this for pickup too. It says everyone's name and then tally and how many wins you have. So like we track our wins in pickup because we're competitive. We're so competitive, our team. So we're like whoever wins just at the end of the year, like we buy dinner for whoever wins at the end of the
Mm,
season. So like preseason, whoever won that, like you're getting dinner paid for, like something like that. But like we're winning. Like everyone's like pissed if you lose, and like you got to make a free throw to end the game if you make the last shot. So like
mhm.
we're always chirping at each other at the free throw line, like, "Hey, your shoes untied," like something like that. Just throw them
Yeah.
off. Um, and so, I mean, we just have such a competitive team. And I mean, there's a lot of things that like our coaching staff does a great job of keeping like our practices during the season competitive. We have a different board in our locker room that has, we call it like points of the day, but none of it is like actual points. So we get
Mhm,
points for charges, we get points for loose balls, rebounds, deflections, and then you get like minus points for
mhm,
turnovers, plus points for assists. So like every single practice we have, like it's competitive. Every drill that we do, like there's a winner and there's a loser. So I think that's what makes our
mhm.
team so great because we hate losing and we love winning. So
Yeah, that's important to have, because
mhm.
I like the fact that you don't keep track of the actual points, because some people get just too
Mhm.
caught up in like, well, that's how I get to
Yeah,
play college ball, is being, dropping 50 points and 40 points. But you're
yeah,
there in college, and it's like points mean nothing almost. It's like
no,
everything else
no,
around it.
yeah. I mean, there's some people like on teams that play strictly for rebounds. And
Hmm.
like there's so many things that you can do, like be a lockdown defender. Like you'll get time if you're a lockdown defender, you can lock up another team's best player. Or if you're getting one of our girls on my team, she's like amazing at getting charges. Like she's like a charge magnet. So like she'll play because we know if we put her out there, she's gonna get a charge, and that's like a
Hmm.
momentum shifter. So like the
Hmm.
energies from that. I mean, I think there's so many things you can do besides scoring that'll get you on the floor in college and like even get you to college, which my AAU coach always talked about. Just keeping like I think AAU in the high school era, I think it's hard because a lot of kids think that you just have to score to get to college. Like if I have 20 this night and a coach is watching, like I'm gonna get an offer. Like no, they're looking at so many other things. And our college coaches tell us now, like what it's. I like to pick their brains. Like what are you guys looking for? And like these younger girls, like what are you scouting? What are you looking at? And they look at so many other things. They look at your body language. They look at how you react when your teammate does something wrong. How do you react when you do something wrong? Like, are you sprinting back? Are you walking back? Um, are you giving full effort on rebounding? Like, I think there's so many little things that I think younger players don't really understand that goes into the whole recruiting situation. So I think that's something that I wish a lot of younger players knew.
Yeah, I think that a lot of coaches say it and it kind of becomes a cliche thing, but
Yeah.
it's true at the same time because my thing is for me, it's like that speaks to your character at the same time. So it's like if this is how you react in this moment, that is a indication of other things going on around you. So like
Right.
if you handle the shooting slump this way, or you handle a bad time or make mistakes this way, more than likely that's how you react off the court with other situations too. And I think that
Exactly.
that's where that all plays a role into it because if you had like this in the classroom, this is how you behave on the court and vice versa. So I think all that plays a role. Like you hear how you do one thing is how you do everything. So I think
Yeah, that's
that's
a great
where it
quote.
makes
I
sense.
love that one.
Yeah. So I think that's where
Yeah.
all culmination comes together to where it's like, okay, this is why coach keeps saying this is why I keep hearing it all the time. So,
Yeah.
makes sense.
Definitely true. Definitely true.
So tell me back to the load management. I don't mind being a little controversial.
Yeah.
Where do you stand on that?
Okay. I so this is kind of I don't think players should be sitting out for load management. Like I don't like I think I like what Kobe said. Like I don't know if you've seen a video of like Vanessa Bryant. She's talked about how like he would never miss a game because someone came there to watch him. So like I think of the same thing. Like some of these families like can only afford like to come to a game once ever in their lifetime, and they're coming to watch you, and you're sitting out because of load management. Like I don't know. So I do think load management has become something that's like I don't know. I think it's a hard situation. It's definitely controversial, and even because we check our load, but sometimes I'm like I feel fine, and my load was really high today, but I feel fine. Like my body's good. So I think it kind of varies from player to player, but I don't think I would ever sit out for load management.
So I vary on it, but I'm leaning more towards the sides of they don't need to rest. So
Yeah.
being a trainer and understanding the whole scope of not understand all of it, but the science and the deeper things behind the body and all that stuff, I get it. So yes, it makes sense. But then, like you said, as a hooper, you know your body. And I remember Gilbert Arenas said this one time when it kind of first started with him. He was just like, "Yeah, it's like your body's like you got a lot going on, big low. You should rest tonight." And he was looking at the paper. He was like, "I need rest. Do you see who I'm playing against? This is an easy 30 ball,
Right.
man. If y'all don't get out my face with this, man, like I feel good and I don't have to worry about this." So like that's
Right.
the part that like the science can't tell. It's like, bro, do you see? This is an easy night for me. This is an easy 30 ball for me. Like I'm not worried about this. So like that's
Right.
where it's kind of like it's the weird part because yes, the paper and the stats and the whoop and all this stuff says that it's just you need to rest, but like I feel great. I feel like it feels it's nothing. But then on the
Right.
other end of it, it's like if I'm a owner and I'm paying you all this money, I would be bothered if you got hurt in a random. No offense to any team, I'm not gonna name any teams, but no, I'm not gonna hurt this no name team or the 15th
Right.
ranked team in January. So like that's where it kind of like I understand the business of it, and sometimes it's not the players' call; it's the coaching and training staff, whatever they're making that decision.
Exactly.
So that's where I'm kind of like I get both sides of it, but being a hooper and understanding that side of it, man, let them play, man. Stop sitting out. Hey.
Right. I agree. I agree. I'm on the same side as you.
Okay, good. So I thought about making a whole episode about this, so we'll see. I don't know, but a little controversial.
Yeah, it is. It is for sure.
But I have a real hooper in the building, so they kind of have my back on this. So anybody have an issue, I'm gonna pull this clip up and show them like, hey,
All right.
she said this too.
Sounds good. Sounds good. I'll talk about it all day.
Look, let's be serious, man. Stop playing around. All right, you didn't got too comfortable. You didn't got relaxed. You forgot that you still got people behind you chasing you right now. You still got people to catch up to. You think just because you won a championship or you had a pretty good game last time that you can relax now. We ain't worry about none of that stuff. Your goal right now is to look at how you were yesterday. Look at the player you were last night. Figure out how to be better than that person. Right now is you versus you. Your goal right now is to make progress than the person that you were last night, the person that you were yesterday. Beat the person this week should be the person from last week. The person this month should be the person from last month. On the court and off the court. Personal development too. So right now, progress is the only goal. We ain't worried about what other people got going on. Focus on progress. It's you versus you. It's me versus me. So that right there is your mission. That's your goal. I don't care about who say the best in state is. I don't care about any of that. Your goal right now is to be better than you were yesterday. I don't care if you struggle to make the team. I don't care if you the last player they're looking at to make the team. We ain't worry about none of that. Your goal right now is to be better than you were yesterday. I don't care if you're the number one player in the nation. Could care less. Your goal right now is to be better than you were yesterday. So go ahead and get you one of these because you need that reminder because you got too comfortable. That's the issue. You got too comfortable. This can't get you comfortable right here. So go ahead, get you a reminder, get you like a flag hanging as a reminder to say progress is on the goal. All right, so let's go back to more of your college experience and how you have developed and grown kind of on the court and off the court. Like what is your day-to-day life like from preseason, in season, and a little bit now in your off season?
Yeah. Preseason, I mean, I think it's a little different than anything you've ever done. So for us, preseason, we're up at 5 a.m. and we'd have to be at the gym we'd have to be on the court or or on the field, wherever we had to be at 5:50, like goal time. Everything we do is goal time. So 10 minutes before whatever, we're going to be there. So we had to be up super early, which I kind of liked. I think it created like discipline for our team. Like I don't know. I kind of like felt like, whoa, I'm getting up early and we're going to get our work in right away. Like we're getting it done. So we would have 3 days a lift or 3 days a week we'd lift, and then 2 days a week would we do conditioning for about an hour for both of those. So we would get that done in the morning, and then we'd have a little break for like classes or tutoring or stuff like that. And then we'd have our practice. Preseason, it was more of like group trainings, and you're still doing a lot of defense because for us, defense a big part of the Big East. Our team is a big part of our identity, which is why I had to like really lock into it and learn it. So we kind of started like from the ground up with that. And so we would do a lot of defense segments. We'd do a lot of like decision making. We'd do a lot of group settings to where like I'm working with a post player because I got to learn how they like their passes. Like, because some of my post players like when I throw it up and some like the bounce pass. So you kind of have to know your players and what they like. So I think preseason is the perfect time to kind of learn your players' tendencies and knowing where they like the ball. Like, same with guards. Like I know some like to catch it like perfectly in their shooting pocket. Others like to, or others are like drivers, so they like to catch it on the move. So you're kind of leading them. So kind of you got to learn, especially as a freshman. You don't know anyone, so you've never played with any of these girls before. So you have to learn. I took a lot of time learning. Like I took a lot of time growing relationships with these girls because you gotta have trust in them. They have to have trust in you, especially as a freshman coming in. Like you have zero credibility. Like they do not care who you were in high school. Like this is a whole different arena. This is totally different than whatever you went through in high school. So I took the time to learn like relationships with them, grow with them. So after we'd have weights, after practice, we'd usually have a team meal together. So that also grows our connection with each other. And then we usually free after that. But then going into regular season, that was a lot different. So we did, that was during school season. So we'd have school. It would kind of depend on our practice block. So usually I would have like a class in the morning, and then I'd go to practice for 2 hours. But then we'd usually have film before. So we'd have film for about 30 minutes, depending on if we just played a game, we'd watch that film on that game, or we're scouting for a team, or we're doing both. So we watched our last game, but also now we're doing our scout for our next team. We're doing that, and then we'd go to practice, and practice would usually be some scout involved in the season. And then after practice, usually you do an individual with your position coach and your other position players. So in my group, there's 2 other players, and they're both, one of them is going to be a 5th year this year, and then one of them is going to be a senior this year. So I was thankful to be in a group with them. So like they kind of showed me the way, taught me a lot of things. Like there's someone I can always go and talk to. Like I always ask them questions, especially about a lot of different point guard stuff, a lot of guard stuff. I was like, some of it's crazy. Like you learn so much your first year. Like you got to be a sponge. Like I think that's one of my things. Like I would tell people, you got to be a sponge. You got to learn everything you can, because they're throwing a lot at you, but you got to learn it up. And now you're learning plays. We're learning like 30, 40 different plays. Now you got to know the different defenses. You got to know the rotations. You got to know how we do ball screens, how we force people. So I think having a position group to where I could like always lean on them and I just know they always have my back was very, very important for me. So after our little individual training, usually we'd also have a team meal again, and then either tutoring or other schoolwork after that. So that's usually how it went. Then now in postseason, we have an hour in the weight room, and then usually we do practice. We do about an hour workout, and it's either an individual, so just you and the coaches, or a group, or they usually split it. So I'm with, like yesterday, I was with one of our leading scorer. So I've been with her a lot, kind of learn. She's the 5th year, so I'm learning from her, trying to learn a lot of her moves, because she's been a dominant player in our league. She was a first team all conference. Trying to just kind of learn from her and pick up on a lot of her mannerisms and how she reacts in different situations as well, which is, I think, important. So I've been with her a lot, and then I've been in some groups with my post players to learn different pick and rolls with them. Like some people like to pop, some like to roll. So kind of just learning, feeling it out. But now also postseason is like a time for you to really work on new things. So we're working on a lot of step backs. We're working on some change of directions. We're working on being creative. So it's been a lot of fun. And then some film here and there, just like from last season. Other than that, still got school, so doing some schoolwork. Definitely keeping those grades up. So yeah.
I can tell you're real like a nerd about this. You understand like a lot of the details, because the simple, like some people like to catch it in their pocket, but some like you got to lead them to it. That's your true point guard. Like I love that.
Yeah.
So
Thank you. I love reading like coaching books, and like so I love kind of learning. Like my coaches, they always make fun of me because I ask them a bunch of coaching questions all the time. So I'm always asking them like, well, like what do you see in this situation? Or like we'll be watching a game with our team, and I'm like, so what play would you guys draw up? And they're like, Kenzie. Like, and then but it's funny because some of them are like, oh, I'd for sure draw this one up, and like they're so serious about it. So it's a lot of fun, and I think I really like learning about the game, because there's so much to learn, and there's always going to be more for me to learn. And I think it only makes me better if the more I know about it as well.
So do you see like coaching in your future, or you just like being a nerd for basketball?
I want to be a coach for sure.
Mm. Do you care what level, or is it like something specific you want to go after?
I don't know yet. I think so. During the summer, last summer, I coached. I would do a training groups with my AAU program. So I would coach a lot of younger girls and guys from like 4th grade to like 8th grade, which I liked. I really liked the development part of the game. I really liked the skills part of the game. So I would be cool with being a trainer. But then also like maybe being a college coach, that'd be fun. But I also, now that I'm in college, I see every single thing that our coaches do, and they put in overtime. I mean, they're always at the gym. They're always trying to make us better, constantly watching film. I mean, sometimes after games, like during the Big East tournament, when we have back-to-back games, like the coaches like barely ever sleep in those tournaments. So I'm like, wow, but I can see myself doing that. So I don't really know for sure yet. It's kind of, I guess, it's gonna have to be a game time decision when I'm done playing.
Yeah, you got a lot of time to think about that, so don't rush it.
Yeah.
But what else did you say? Oh, I saw that how you broke down your schedule, and it was pretty
Mhm.
similar to your high school schedule of how
Yeah.
lifting weights, doing things in the morning. So how much was that preparation for you? Just like, oh, this is easy. Like this is nothing for you. You spoke on a little bit early, but like now
Mhm.
that you kind of paint the picture, how much of it was just like a snap of the finger, like, oh, it's from here to here, this easy.
Yeah. I think like the time I put in high school like really resembles the time I put in here. Like always around the game, like not always on my feet, but like watching film. Like I was always watching film in high school. Now I'm always watching film, like whether it's our practice film or game film. Like so I think that was an easy part. I think the intensity was a switch up. Like I don't think
Mm.
anyone could ever prepare you for like that first practice. Like you have no clue what's gonna go on. You have no clue how it's gonna go. But everything's so fast paced, and like our team, we move from drill to drill like fast, like because we're gonna use all of our time, and we're not gonna be like walking from drill to drill. Like we're running. We're doing this, and then all right, moving on to the next one. We're doing this, and I think that was something to adjust. Like you're going full throttle for 2 hours. You're not just like going full throttle for like 20 minutes, and then all right, now you kind of got a little break doing this drill, but now you're going full throttle again. Like our practices are like 2 hours. You're going as hard as you can the entire 2 hours. So I think like kind of growing that intensity where you can like hold it for the whole 2 hours and you can get the most of it. Because I think at the beginning of the year you kind of got to build it up for sure. As a freshman, you have to build it up.
Mm. So going into your season, or kind of like just going, we're going to talk about your season now. So
Yeah.
going against UConn 3 times and winning your, first team, freshman, was it like, was there any moment where you were just kind of like, wow, I'm here? Or was it kind of like a shell shock type moment? Or was it more of just like you were so locked in through the process and everything that you just kind of like just weren't even aware, like kind of naive and oblivious to it?
Yeah. I mean, I think the first time I was really like, dang, like this is real, like this is happening. Is like we played against South Carolina, or not, we played in South Carolina. We played in the arena for the first game of March Madness. And I remember we had a practice the day before, and after practice, I was sitting on their benches, and I was like kind of looking back. I was like looking up at all their banners, and I was like, we're really here right now. Like I'm in March Madness. Like I was like, I've been watching March Madness my entire life. Like this is absolutely crazy. The fact that I'm actually here right now. Like I think like looking back is like my younger self like would just be so proud of where I am today. And I think I do have to remind myself that sometimes, because I mean the season's hard and it's long and it's like it's tolling definitely, but like kind of reminding yourself um like man, like this is really a dream come true. Like I don't have to go to practice. Like, I get to go to practice. Like, I get to do all this. Like, a lot of people don't have that opportunity. And, like, I get to be a part of something just so special, something bigger than myself. It's something just, like, I'm, like, looking back on, and I'm like, I just cannot wait to continue this. It's so special.
I like that mindset. Like he said, I don't, not that I have to go to practice, I get to go to practice. Like, was
Yeah.
that something you always had? Did you kind of have to develop that?
I've always had that. I've always, like, loved practice. I've always kind of loved, like, the process of getting better. And I think that's from having coaches as parents. Like, I think they, like, really instill that into you. Like, you better love the practice, because, like, I mean, you gotta love it. So, like, if you want to be great at something, my dad was always like, if you want to be great, you have to love the process, and you have to love doing things you maybe don't want to do, or, like, maybe they're really hard. So just, I've always kind of, like, I remember in I think middle school, I'd be, like, so upset when the practice was over. I was like, no, like this is fun. Like, it's over already. Like, I love it. Like, what? So I think, like, it's always kind of been in me, and, like, I know these practices are totally different than middle school practice. Like, they're way hard, but I still love it, and I love, like, it's hard. Like, you're dripping sweat, you're going through it. Sometimes you don't even know if you can make it through practice. Like, especially the practice right after Christmas break. Like, we get, like, 3 days off, but, like, you're coming back, and it's, like, it's gonna be hard, and you know it's gonna be hard, but you have to embrace it, or else you're not gonna enjoy it at all. Because I mean, those are the times where I think the team gets closer, like, when it's hard and everyone's not quitting, because you know your teammate has your back, and, like, you're doing it for the girls, like, right next to you. Like, that's what's something, like, I love about college basketball. Like, I love that side of things.
Yeah, I think, like you said before, March Madness is one of the other pieces that we all look forward to. So, like you said, you sit back and you just like, man, I'm here. So, what was that whole, from the seeing your slot being picked, and getting to be able to be in there? What was that whole experience like for you?
Yeah. I mean, it was something, like, I've always dreamed of. Like, I've always dreamed of playing in front of, like, an arena full of fans. I've always dreamed of making a game winner, or, like, I hit 2 free throws in that game to send us to overtime. Like, that was something that I've always dreamed of my entire life. And so, just being able to be in that situation, and, like, having confidence in myself, and, like, seeing, like, um I don't know, like, it was just something truly special, like, something I can't even explain. Like, sitting there, like, in warm-ups, and being like, this is happening right now. Like, I'm warming up to go play a game. Like, I'm excited. I'm not even nervous. Like, I'm excited. I'm ready to go. Like, I'm ready to get out there. It was, gosh, I can't even describe it. Like, even when I was talking about sitting down on the bench after that practice, and, like, looking up, like, because during, like, those times really stressful, like, for a lot of, like, our team, our coaches, because like, you lose and your season's over. So like, I think it was great for me to take time and, like, really just, like, appreciate where I'm at, appreciate my team, appreciate, like, everyone around me who's gotten me to this point, appreciate all the work I put in to get me to that point. Just, like, being appreciative of all of that, because it's like nothing else. Like, it's crazy.
So sadly, you went out, but
Yeah.
first round. But
Hmm.
I know, just literally from what you just said, you still appreciate the moment, and you appreciate the season and
For sure.
everything. So, was that like a hard loss to take? Like, you went in overtime, or was it just kind of just like, you still is like, man, I appreciate it, I'm grateful for it. So, what was that? Even in the loss, what was your experience like with that?
Yeah. So I so it was definitely hard, because I took so we were down two with 8 seconds left. We drew up a play, and I got the last second shot, and it went in and out. It literally dipped down and went out. So that loss was really hard for me, because I was like, um, it was hard, because I was like, my seniors are done playing, like, and I missed the shot. Like, that's a shot you dream of. Like, so I think that was very hard for me. But after I was able to kind of take a step back after that, like calm down my emotions and everything, I was like, all right, well, I was trusted to take the shot in the first place. Like, that's incredible. And then, like, all my teammates were so amazing. They were like, Kenzie, we wouldn't be in overtime without your free throws, like stuff like that. Like, but I mean, the team that I had was so special. The girls were just like great leaders. And I mean, they're teaching me how to be a leader for when I'm an upperclassman and I have to lead a team myself. So, with my older girls. So, yeah, it was definitely a hard loss. But we're using that as motivation. We'll be back next year. Without a doubt, we'll be back.
I love that for you, man, because I can tell you're gonna have a moment where maybe not next year, maybe not to the year after, but you're gonna look back and be like, freshman year, I messed up with this, but I redeemed myself. Now I see it for you right now.
Yeah.
I can't wait till it actually happens, though.
Thank you.
All right, so I told you in the beginning, we'll get back to the shooter questions. Okay, so I'm trying to make this kind of quick for you, but all right, so maybe think about a couple things. So shooting.
Mm-hmm.
How do you deal with shooting in big games? Like you just spoke about, you had the big game, big moment, big opportunity. Do
Yeah.
you have to do you train any differently, like to like the shooting to prepare for that game, or is it just like same old same old? How do you prepare for yourself as a shooter for those big games and big moments?
So I'm big on kind of like consistency and like I like routine. So before every game, I do the same exact routine. Like I get out on the floor before anyone else. So I'm out there at like the 80-minute mark before our warm ups. Like all of our girls come out. Like we start our warm ups at I think 55 minutes. So I'm out there and I'm getting all my mid range shots in, my pull ups, my threes, my threes off the move, and I do the same thing in the same order. I make the same amount of shots, and I have like a rebounder and a passer because I'm the only one out there. So being able to, I think, get that repetition before the game, and like in your mind, you're in that same arena that you're playing in. So seeing the ball go through the net is just giving you confidence, and then I mean, you get confidence from all the reps you put in beforehand. So like before I even leave, of course we get reps up and we get shots up. And I think something like having someone put a hand in your face, so it's contested because you're not shooting wide open shots in the game, especially at the Division I level. I mean, of course, there's sometimes where you'll get like a wide open one, but like it's very limited. So having someone contest your shot, I think really sets you up for game-like results, like going game speed into your shots. You're not just catching it and going through the motions. Like you got to get your footwork clean. You got to get your shot off clean. Like you got to get a quick release because, I mean, I'm 5'9", so like the girls I'm playing against are like 6'1", 6 foot. Like they have long arms. Like they're tall. Like you got to get this off fast. Or you're not getting it off. So I think kind of having that routine, having the reps in, having someone contest your shots, going game speed, like those are definitely really huge for having confidence in those big games.
So how important is your routine for you to get into your flow? Like, is it the pregame routine or your training routine that you feel like prepares you a little bit more, or is it both of them together?
I think both, but I think more of like my pregame routine more helps me get in like the mindset. Because like once you get into the game, like you can't be thinking like, "Ooh, should I shoot this?" Like you have to, like if you're a shooter, like that's your role. Like you have to let it fly, and your teammate has confidence in you. Your coaches have confidence in you, right? Because that's your role. So I think having my pregame routine where I'm watching the ball go through the net. I'm like shooting the same shots I'm shooting in the game. So like when I get in the game, I'm like, I just shot this like a couple minutes, like 30 minutes ago. Like I'm cool.
Yeah.
Like I just shot this. It's going in. Like I just having that mindset, that like confidence in yourself. Like I think that's such a huge thing. Especially when you go into college, like you're not the big dog anymore when you step on campus. So like maintaining that confidence in yourself is so important.
So you spoke about confidence, and basketball is a game of feeling. And
Yep.
I was literally thinking about this earlier this week. If you let's say you're out there by yourself, like you don't have a trainer or anything.
Mm-hmm.
If you had to decide your session based off of the feeling of your shot, whether like you missing everything, but it feels pretty decent, or you're getting your reps in and you're getting your shots, but it doesn't feel as good. Like, it's like, yeah, I made that one, but like as a shooter, it feels good and it's going
Yeah,
in.
you gotta feel it.
Yeah. So which one would you rather have? Like you made your percentages and everything, you make your numbers, or but you're making them and it doesn't feel good, or it feels good but you're missing. Which one would you rather have?
I think feel good is most important. I think so, but I feel like if I was like missing them, I'd have to move in and like start back at my mechanics, get it like if it's what like there's got to be something on. If like it feels good up here, then it must be my legs, or like it must
Mm-hmm.
be like something going on, like something a little small that you can fix really fast. But I think I definitely much rather have it feel good. Like, because sometimes you can walk into practice and you're like, it does not feel good today, but you gotta kind of like get through that and keep getting some shots up to make it feel better. Maybe like move in or like get some more like really locking into the fundamentals of shooting. So I definitely am a feel player for sure.
Okay, I thought so. So I want to do this first. So do you? Okay, let's do that. Do you feel like shooting slumps are real?
Um, man, I so I think it's I think it's mental. I do, because I've been in one. It wasn't like awful, but I've been in like a couple game shooting slump where I'm like, and nothing's going in. But like that's the problem. You can't say that to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Like you have to have supreme confidence in yourself, and like I think whenever I'm like feeling like, man, it doesn't feel right. Like it's like, all right, I gotta lock in how I'm talking to myself while I'm shooting, how I'm thinking
Mm-hmm.
about my shot. Like you can't have any doubts of like why you're shooting that shot, or like thinking about like I think when you're shooting it, you shouldn't be thinking about your mechanics or that. Like you can go back after you shot it to
Mm-hmm.
like then look at that, and but like when you're shooting, it's got to be like I'm making this, because that's the only
Mm-hmm.
thing that matters in that moment. So I really think it's a mental part of the game that I think it's difficult because it's not fun and see the ball keep bouncing out, and it's like
Yeah.
it's hard sometimes. I mean, it's not fun. So I think you got to be so mentally tough and being able to continue to fight through the slump or whatever it is to get back your confidence, get back like it feels good. And yeah, I do think it's mental. I do.
Okay. So how do you bounce back from a shooting slump, or just when your shot's not
Mm-hmm.
feeling good? Like you already said, get back to your mechanics and your routine, but how do you like mentally overcome this pocket of like the slump of what it is? How do you mentally bounce back from that?
Yeah, so I like to go back and watch highlights. So I like to see the ball go through the
Mm,
net, and I like to see myself doing well. So I think that's a big thing for me. Being able to watch the ball, like, man, look at that. That looks good. Like, I can do that. I've done that before. Like, kind of getting that back. And then from there, getting so many reps in because to make it feel good. But sometimes it's like one time I took a day off because I was like, all right, I'm doing too much and it's like it's making me think about it even more. Like it's making it worse. I took a day off, I come back and it was perfectly fine. Like I was good. So it kind of depends on how you're feeling and what type of player you are as well. But
mhm.
I think a lot of times it comes back to watching highlights of yourself or getting reps. Like those are my big two things I always like to fall back on if I ever feel like I'm not shooting well.
Mm, okay. So, last one. Okay. Do you feel like it might be a little controversial, just a little bit? Do you feel
Okay.
like so? Let's do this. Give me your top three WNBA shooters.
Ooh. Okay.
Mhm.
All right. I'd say Quigley, Allie Quigley. Um, this is gonna be controversial, probably. Sabrina Ionescu and Enrique. I think,
Ooh, Enrique.
yeah,
Okay.
it's controversial for sure, but she's clutch. She's so clutch. I had to put her in there. Had to.
I'm not mad about it. I understand. I'm not mad about it. Okay. And it's your
Okay.
list. I can't tell
Okay.
you how to do your list, but I'm with you. I understand. I got you. So give
Yeah.
me your top three NBA shooters.
I'd say Curry, Clay. Um, Probably like all time or like right now.
Right now.
Okay. I think I gotta go with. I want to say. I want to say Harden. Just. I just want. I don't know. That's where I go with, which was interesting. But I think that third spot can go to a lot of candidates. I think. I think that's tough. That's tough to limit it to three. But Steph and Clay are up there always for me. Um, for sure.
Harden is a very interesting choice. Like he wouldn't have came to mind to
I
me.
don't know why
Like
that. I don't know why that came to mind. Honestly, I was yeah.
over
That's I
Trey,
don't know.
over Dame. Oh, like really?
Oh, okay. I forgot about those. So I say Dame. I'm changing it to Dame. I'm changing it. I forgot about him for a second. I'm changing it.
I'm not saying
I
Harden
was
is wrong,
thinking right, but
but
if I forgot about Dame, he's top three.
okay. I'm a Dame guy, so I'm more pleased with that
Okay,
answer. So
okay,
okay.
good.
Now to get to my real question I wanted to ask you. So a
Okay.
3-point shootout. Okay. You taking the WNBA or the NBA guys?
Ooh. Um, I gotta go WNBA. You know, I have to. I have to. I think it would be a good game for sure. I think it'll be good. Man, I kind of want to see that now. I really
Mm-hmm.
want to see that. I think they need to do that. A little NBA, WNBA combine kind of thing. A little All Star maybe appearance. I have to go WNBA just because um, that's where I want to be.
Mm.
So hopefully I could beat some NBA players one day. But I think no, but that's crazy. But yeah, I think I'd have to say WNBA.
I think I have to agree. I think if you let's say you had like five, you gave them five opportunities to go at it. I feel like the W probably come away with like three or four out of the five. Like, cause
I think it'd be close. I think
oh
yeah.
yeah,
I think if it was like a five series, I think it would have to be 3-2.
yeah,
It have to because I think it'd be close for sure.
yeah.
For
But I still
sure.
think the W would end up winning. It's I just feel like they would because girls has more skill generally over guys anyway. Like the the skill level
Hmm.
across the board in the W is higher than the skill level in the NBA. So that's why I kind of like wanted to ask you that because shooting
Yeah, that's a good point.
is the most like cut and dry, skill that you can have that both men and women can kind of point to. But I still feel
Yeah.
like in the W and girls overall, it's still like a notch above what the guys have because like at the end of the day, I can just jump over somebody or run around somebody. But women, it's like,
Right.
I can't do that as much.
Yeah, you got to really lock into the skills because you can't do all that.
So yeah, let me make sure. It's all my shooting questions for now, So um, I think that's
Sounds
it for
good.
right there. But I do want to get your thoughts on one more thing. So the
Okay.
whole Caitlin Clark versus Angel Reese situation.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts about that?
Man, that is also controversial. Wow. So I'm not a big like I don't celebrate myself ever. Like I'll celebrate my teammates, but I'm not one to like hype the crowd up or like do a
Mm-hmm.
celebration or anything like that. Like I've always been taught to like act like you've done it before. So
Mm-hmm.
I've never really done all that. So I don't really. I mean, I think it's fine if they do it. Like it's cool. Um, I think there are different situations. So like Caitlyn obviously did it before, so Angel Reese doing it back was like, I mean, you did it before, but also,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think the following around or like the ring, I don't really agree with that, but I don't agree with them either of them doing it in the first place. So yeah, I don't know. I think that's a tough one because I think there's a lot of different standpoints on that. So that's a fun one to talk about though, because that can go either way. That can go
Yeah.
either way.
Yeah. But I agree. I think because I'm like you. I'm not really like a showboat. I'm just chilling. But at the end of the
Yeah.
day, be who you are. So Caitlin Clark's
Right.
been her from the jump. So
Exactly.
and she's a fair player to where
Mm-hmm.
if you do it, as long as you back it up with your game, hey, it's all fair.
Right.
And
She can back
so
it up. Both players can back it up. So that's why it's like that,
yeah,
and they're both been like that all the years. It's not like it came out in the national championship game. Like coming in, they're gonna have some trash talk back and forth. Like both of them are like that. So it's like
yeah.
I don't know. It's kind of what you kind of I expected something to happen like that. Like
Oh yeah.
for sure.
So it just happened to be the fact, like you said, I didn't like the fact that Angel's kind of following her around. Then it kind of came like a
Yeah.
little extra thing where it's like, really, like
Yeah.
you
I
do it in
agree.
passing or
I
right
agree.
beside you, then it's like, all right, cool, talking
Right.
trash in that pocket. But now you
Yeah.
like trying to make it a thing. It's like,
Yeah. I
doesn't look
mean,
as
props
good.
to Caitlin for keeping it cool though. She kept it cool. Like she didn't react or anything. Props to her for that. Because I
Oh
think
yeah.
after you're losing a national championship, like emotions are high. So props to her for not saying anything or doing anything crazy.
hmm
So
Yeah, I think she handled the entire game right.
mm-hmm.
Even like she got the little pay to
Yeah.
tech, which I didn't think she should have had, but she handled
Yeah.
everything like as being your star player, your face of the
Yeah.
basically college basketball, essentially, and your team and
Right.
everything. Like, what more could you ask from her? And I think besides following Caitlin around, I think Angel handled everything. I don't have an issue with anything she did. Like,
Right.
so
Me either. Yeah.
I think overall, man, I wanted to ask you that too, just because when was the game? Like 2 weeks ago?
Yeah. Something like that.
But it's still being talked about. And that's the thing that I like because when has this
Same.
happened before?
Same.
Like this is the
Same.
first time.
And
So yeah.
right. And I like the publicity for college basketball anyway for women. Like I think it's great for us to get a platform like that. And I'm like, if they're gonna still talk about it, that's cool. We'll take it. We'll take the publicity. So
hmm
yeah.
Yeah, that's why I love it so much too, because I don't think we've ever had this long of a talk besides like the couple times UConn was just dominating and killing everybody. And it's like, is this bad for the sport? That's
Yeah.
the only other time I remember the talks lasting this long. It's just women's,
Right.
especially women's basketball in general. Like, so I think that's why it's so
Mm-hmm.
great and beautiful because I don't remember any time where after the championship game, the season's done, we're still
You're
talking about
right.
the
Yeah.
game.
That's a good point. I didn't even think about that. So that's a really good point.
Mm,
That's
yeah.
good. That's good for the game.
Oh yeah. So I know you got to get out of here. So I have two final questions for you. Okay.
All
Try to
right.
make this quick. So number one, who is someone that you could give their flowers to? Someone that you feel is a little underrated and just you see them, whether it's a player, coach, teammate, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
you just like, man, I wish that people would know how great you are. You're underrated, slept on. Here's an opportunity to get your flowers and give you, some publicity. So who would that be for you?
I mean, I talked about him a lot. Definitely my AU coach. I think he's so underrated. He's done so much for so many girls in my area, and I keep in contact with him still. He's not a coach at the AU program I was at anymore. Like now he coaches at Iowa, like at All Iowa Attack, which is a great program. I'm so happy for him there. But like he still keeps in contact with me, and he still like hits me up all the time. Like we talk basketball. Like when I was struggling with defense, like I hit him up. I was like, hey, like is there anything you can send me like to help me out with this? Like he sent me some videos from the NBA, like kind of talking it through, talking about how to get over screens. Like definitely him. Like he's so underrated, but he's like done so much for me. Like he's coached me since I was in fourth grade. So like I owe him
Mhm.
so much.
Mm. Okay, I respect that because a lot of times, AAU is tricky waters. You do a lot of it in there, so I don't want to touch. That's one thing I'm not trying to touch. We went pretty controversial this whole episode, so I ain't gonna go there. But I respect that.
Yeah. And I think especially with AAU, like some people bounce around places. Like I was with him from my first time I stepped like AAU, like from fourth grade to my senior year of high school. Like I stayed with the same exact coach because he was that good. So like like our whole team stayed together because we weren't moving because we had such a great situation. So like I think that's a thing with AAU nowadays. Like we weren't EYBL or we weren't Under Armour. We were not a no name until we were like Blue Star our last 2 years. So like we weren't anything crazy. We didn't have any shoe brands. I mean, we did not care. Like we were gonna go beat these EYBL teams. Like I think like it just kind of like mixes into like who I am. Like I don't care for all like the glam. Like I just want the grit and I want the toughness. I want to go beat these teams. Like that's just who I am, I guess.
I respect that because, like you said, it doesn't happen that often. So I truly respect that. That's what's up.
Right.
So before I get to this last question,
okay.
Do you think that people should subscribe to this channel? Like, this is a pretty good podcast, and I just
for sure, yeah,
they should subscribe, right?
You have to.
Like,
you have subscribe for sure. You got to. You have to.
Got to.
Choice
like,
at this point.
Exactly. We're this far into it. You might as well subscribe to the channel. And if you're listening on Spotify, Apple, just follow along, subscribe, whatever. Like it's simple. It's easy. Like it's just one button. It's like one press just right there. Exactly.
Right.
So just subscribe. It's simple. And then if you want to, you don't have to. I don't care. But follow me on social media at BeBall Jones. That's everything. It's Instagram, Twitter, all that good stuff, TikTok, whatever. Then of course follow this lovely guest that I have today. I'm interviewing Miss Kenzie Hare. She's dope, you feel me? Like, I don't know if she's single or not, I don't know, might shoot your shot, might not, I don't know. She's pretty, I know she's pretty, but look, I'm not saying you can, but I'm not saying you can't. I'm not speaking for anybody, but if you want to follow along her journey, see how she does next year in March Madness, that's the information. That's all I'm gonna say, guys. So shoot your shot if you want to. She, I don't know if she got a shot blocker, I don't know the details, but I'm just giving you alley-oop to say, hey, here's an opportunity. What you do with it is yours. So that's it. So
it's hilarious.
Oh, man. That's stupid. Ignore me. So but before we get out of here, you've been hooping for a long time, and we've all had those different stories or situations where we had a coach give us some game or a parent kind of break something down to us, and it was about the game, but like you said, now years later, it's something that is just way bigger than basketball and applies to you. Like, so what's something that you've learned or a story that you had that's just like, man, this is so much bigger than basketball? So what's that story for you, or situation for you?
Yeah, I think something that's always kind of been relevant to me is like do hard things, like do the things you don't want to do. Like you don't want to wake up on your first alarm, do it. Like get out of bed right away. Like I think it just makes you so much more like disciplined, consistent person, and like that helps you in like all aspects of life. Like you don't want to go study for your test, go study, because like what are you doing wasting some time? Like you're just on TikTok. So like just being able to do hard things, and like that happens like in the basketball world. Like conditioning, it's not easy, but you have to do it. You got to be in basketball shape. So like being able to do hard things, getting through it, and you're not always going to enjoy it, and it's not always going to be fun, but definitely I think that's something that I've learned. I think I'm going to carry that with me for the rest of my career and life. So
Well, that's a good one. We're going to wrap it up on that. So make sure, like, once again, you guys to subscribe, follow along to the channel, Spotify, Apple, everywhere, if you're listening, whatever. Then, of course, follow the guest. She was amazing. It was a fun interview. I appreciate you hopping on. And anything else before we get out of here?
No, thanks for having me. This was a lot of fun.
I appreciate you coming on. So, that's it, everybody. See you next week.